Side lift. Now, this is one of those exercises which is very simple in its performance, but actually very complex to perform well. So I'm going to break it down for you while you are looking at the full video. So the setup is to lay on your side. Ideally, both legs are fully extended. You will see that Mel's bottom foot is in dorsiflexion. That's going to help the hamstrings and the inner thighs activate to keep her steady. Now your underneath arm, you're resting down on the forearm with the elbow directly underneath the underarm when you're resting with your hips down on the floor. By the time you lift up off the floor, you're trying to get to a position that the entire body is on a straight diagonal line, so there's no sagging in the body. That's going to require a lot of shoulder stability. Your top arm ideally is extended to the ceiling, and there's a sense of reaching the top arm to the ceiling at the same time as really pressing down into the underneath forearm and to get that elevation. So by the time you're lifted, your arms end up in line with each other and the head is getting pulled away from the shoulders so it stays in that long line from the feet all the way to the head. From the back end, when I'm looking at a student, and what I want you to look at on your students, is that your shoulder blades should be staying relatively flat on the back, and that would indicate then that your shoulder stabilizers are doing their job. Quite often you'll see that people's shoulder blades are either scrunching up around their neck or they're really winging, and then that will tell you that either you need to cue them a little bit more effectively or you need to modify the exercise. So when you're lifting up through the elbow and the forearm off of the mat, it should almost feel like there's a candle that is sitting on the mat and the flame of that candle is licking your underarm and you're trying to lift up away from it. If you or your student cannot do that without winging their shoulder blade, then a modification could be to bend both knees and practice the lift. As the shoulders get stronger, maybe you can come into both legs straight. You also want to make sure that the glutes are actively wrapping around. So those glutes and the tummy muscles and the shoulders are all working together. Side lift is the epitome of Pilates principle, which really is to get the entire body moving cohesively to perform an exercise. So we are never really isolating muscles in Pilates, and this is one of those exercises which will indicate to you whether or not a lot of those pre-Pilates exercises have come together for you. So as well as modifying by bending both knees, you could also either put the top hand on the hip or you could put the top hand down on the floor. Like I said, rather modify the exercise, get it looking good before you progress to the full exercise, but know that this is complex and it does take time for people to do it well. So keep practicing and know that practice does make progression.